Welcome back to the Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
Today, we're getting into a really influential book, Cal Newport's Deep Work.
Ah, yes, a very timely one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, in a world where our attention is just constantly getting yanked around, Instagram reels, WhatsApp pings, endless YouTube shorts.
It's constant noise, isn't it?
Exactly. And this book, it feels like a framework we really need right now.
A bit of an antidote, maybe.
Yeah, an antidote. So our mission for this deep dive is pretty clear. Let's pull out the key ideas, the really important nuggets from Newport that explain, how to actually master focus and get truly productive in all this chaos.
Sounds good. Where should we start?
Okay, let's unpack this core concept first. What exactly is deep work in Newport's view?
Right. So his definition is quite precise. It's the ability to focus without distraction on a cognitively demanding task.
Okay. Focus without distraction, cognitively demanding.
Exactly. And the kicker is, he argues this is like the most valuable skill for the 21st century.
Wow, the most valuable.
That's his argument. And yet, paradoxically, it's also becoming the most underpracticed. So it's this incredibly valuable asset that, well, fewer and fewer people are actually good at.
It really lands. You feel that fragmentation everywhere. And Newport draws this really sharp line, doesn't he, between deep work and something he calls shallow work.
A crucial distinction.
Can you describe that shallow work side for us? Because, often it feels productive, right? Like you're busy.
Totally. That's the trap.
I'm thinking like those endless email chains.
Yep.
Constant Slack notifications popping up. Maybe just casual scrolling that you tell yourself is research.
Or attending meetings that just go absolutely nowhere.
Oh, definitely. I think we can all picture that one. It feels like activity, but Newport says it doesn't really lead to real growth or value creation.
Precisely. It's logistical, it's often performed while distracted, and it doesn't really push your cognitive limits.
Okay, so that's shallow. Then what about the other side? Deep work.
Ah, well, that's where the real leverage is. Think about writing that novel you've been planning.
Right.
Or intensely coding a complex piece of software, really digging into building out a business strategy, or maybe just studying something difficult, like truly studying it.
Things that require real concentration.
Exactly. It demands your full, undivided focus. But the payoff. Newport argues it brings massive, often disproportionate results.
Disproportionate results. I like that.
And if you connect that to the bigger picture, his point is quite stark. People who can consistently carve out time for deep work, they'll become increasingly rare.
And therefore?
And therefore incredibly valuable in pretty much any field that requires thinking.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So beyond just defining it, Newport gives us ways to actually cultivate this skill. This is where it gets really interesting, I think. Let's dive into some of those game-changing lessons.
Let's do it.
Lesson 1 seems foundational. Work deeply. He talks about not just waiting for the perfect moment to focus, which, let's be honest, most of us do.
Right. We wait for inspiration or for things to calm down, which they rarely do.
Exactly. So what's his advice?
Well, his core recommendation is pretty direct. Schedule it. Actually block out time for deep work in your calendar, like you would an important meeting.
Treat it like an appointment.
Precisely. And here's the surprising part, maybe the most impactful insight for me. He suggests that even just, say, 90 minutes of true, uninterrupted focus can actually achieve more, produce more value than maybe 8 hours of that fragmented, distracted, shallow hustle we talked about.
Wow, 90 minutes versus a whole day. That's powerful.
Yeah.
It's not just about efficiency then, it's about the quality of thought.
Exactly. The cognitive benefits of sustained concentration are just that much higher. Focus time is way more valuable than just, more time spent poorly.
Okay, that's a big one. Lesson 2 is embrace boredom. Now, this one sounds, counterintuitive, doesn't it? In a world trying to kill boredom at every turn.
It really does sound odd at first. Like, why would we want to be bored?
Yeah. So what's the rationale? How does being okay with boredom help with deep work?
Well, Newport's logic is this. Think about your brain. If it can't handle sitting still for, say, 10 minutes without needing a hit of stimulation, checking your phone, clicking a link.
Which is pretty common.
Very common. Then how can you possibly expect it to focus intensely for an hour or 90 minutes on a really hard task?
Ah, okay. It's like training.
Exactly. He basically frames embracing boredom, those moments waiting in line, commuting, whatever, not as something to escape, but as a crucial workout for your focus muscle. You're building tolerance for monotasking, strengthening your ability to resist the urge to switch context all the time.
So resisting the itch to pull out the phone is actually focus training.
In a nutshell, yes,
Yeah.
building that mental endurance.
Interesting. Okay, lesson 3. This one often gets attention. Quit social media. Now, that sounds pretty drastic. Is he really saying everyone should just delete all their accounts?
Yeah, it sounds provocative and he knows it, but no, it's more nuanced than a blanket ban. It's not about becoming a digital hermit necessarily.
So what's the guideline, then?
He encourages a kind of cost-benefit analysis, but for your attention, a basic criteria is look at the tools you use, especially social media. If a particular platform costs you significantly more in terms of fractured attention, time lost, and mental energy, then the actual tangible value it provides towards your important goals, well, then maybe it's detrimental to your ability to work deeply.
Okay, so it's an audit. Does this actually help me, or does it mostly just distract me?
Pretty much. It's about being really intentional and asking if the tool serves your deep goals or undermines them. And if it undermines them, you need to seriously consider reducing its hold on your attention, maybe quitting it altogether or using it in a very controlled way. It's about mindful usage, not just blind acceptance.
Right, being deliberate about it. Okay, moving on. Lesson 4, drain the shallows. This ties back to what we discussed earlier, getting rid of that shallow work that eats up time. How do we practically do that? It often feels unavoidable.
It often does, yeah. But he offers some really practical strategies, things like batching your emails. Instead of checking constantly, maybe you only process email 2 or 3 specific times a day.
Contain it?
Exactly. Or setting up clear auto-replies to manage other people's expectations about your response times. Another big one is time blocking your entire day, not just deep work, but explicitly scheduling blocks for shallow tasks too.
Ah, so you give the shallow stuff its own container too.
Right. That way, it doesn't just bleed into everything and interrupt your deep work sessions. It's about consciously building boundaries around the shallow stuff to protect the deep.
Makes sense. Create clear fences. Okay, and the final lesson, number 5. And this one always gets me because it sounds so unproductive. Be lazy. What on earth does he mean by that?
Yeah, be lazy. It sounds like the opposite of productivity advice, doesn't it?
Completely.
But it's actually critical. His point is that deep work is intense. It requires significant mental energy. You can't do it sustainably if you're constantly wired, constantly on. It's not about burnout.
Okay. So lazy doesn't mean unproductive.
Not in his context. He strongly emphasizes the importance of having what he calls shut-down rituals.
Shut-down rituals.
Yeah. Basically, having a clear process at the end of your workday to consciously disengage from work thoughts. You review tasks, make a plan for tomorrow, and then mentally and ideally physically switch off. Done. No more email checking, no more ruminating on work problems.
Let's truly disconnect.
Truly disconnect. And this isn't just about, feeling better or avoiding burnout, though that's part of it. He argues that this downtime, this laziness, is essential for insight, for creativity, and for replenishing the mental energy you need for the next day's deep work session.
So the downtime actually fuels the deep work.
Precisely. It allows your subconscious to work, it prevents decision fatigue, and it ensures you come back fresh and capable of that intense focus. So being lazy in this structured way actually makes your deep work more effective.
That reframes rest completely.
Yeah.
Okay, so pulling all this together, why does this matter so much right now? What's the urgency? Why deep work today?
Well, I think the urgency is palpable, isn't it? Look around. AI is advancing incredibly fast. Markets move quicker than ever. The pace of change is just accelerating.
Things feel faster, yeah.
And in this kind of environment, Newport's core argument is that attention itself, your ability to direct and sustain your focus, is becoming the real currency. It's the fundamental resource.
Attention as currency.
Absolutely, because if you can effectively train yourself to focus, if you can consistently engage in deep work while everyone else is drowning in distraction, you gain this immediate, powerful advantage.
An edge.
A huge edge. It doesn't matter what field you're in. You could be a student trying to really learn complex material, a YouTuber creating compelling content that requires thought, an entrepreneur building a business from scratch, a freelancer delivering a high-value, focused work.
Anyone whose work involves thinking.
Pretty much anyone. If you can master focus, you're positioned to win. Deep work is the skill that lets you translate potential into tangible results in a noisy world.
It really hammers home that Deep work isn't about finding some quick productivity hack or trick, is it?
Not at all. It's much deeper than that. It's really a mindset shift, a philosophy for working and living.
A mindset that says, in this loud, chaotic world, the real power, the real advantage comes from being able to go silent and sharp.
Exactly, to cultivate that inner focus.
And fundamentally, it's not about working more hours. It's about working right, making the hours you do work count deeply.
That's the core message. Quality over quantity, driven by focus.
So maybe the final thought for everyone listening is this. Newport suggests focus isn't just another good habit to have. It's potentially a superpower in today's world.
A superpower, I like that.
So the question becomes, how might you start unlocking that superpower in your own life, starting maybe even today?